Hey there! You're listening to the Outsourcing Hub podcast, the pod that brings you anything and everything about building great teams in outsourcing. And we promise to share infinite opportunities, news, updates, and trends in the industry. Hosted by the Vice President of Sales and Marketing at Infinit-O, Mike Gunyon.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Gunyon, Vice President, Sales and Marketing with Infinit-O, and welcome again to our podcast. This is another episode of the Outsourcing Hub podcast, building great teams with Infinit-O. We've been in the outsourcing business for about 15 years. Our clients are small and medium businesses, startups, first-time outsourcers, among others. We support businesses across many different industries and functions, from healthcare, financial services, accounting, research and data, customer experience, IT solutions, sales and sales enablement, and back office support, among others. Joining us today is Rudy Rahman, CEO of IO Labs. Rudy is passionate about technology, entrepreneurship, and people development. And I think you'll hear that in his voice today. After stints in KPMG, Unilever, Google, and after building his own tech startup, Rudy started IO Labs, a tech venture builder, back in January of 2020. IO Labs builds tech startups in high growth opportunity spaces like automation, mental health, and cybersecurity, among others, all over the world. IO Labs is a technology center of excellence of Infinit-O, developing tech-driven solutions for their clients. It's my pleasure to speak with you again today, Rudy. How are you doing?
Hi, Mike. Good day to you. I'm feeling very good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Yeah, doing well. It's exciting today to speak with you, as you and I talk frequently, but it's really great to be able to start spreading the word about the good work that you've been able to accomplish and how that's going out there in the marketplace. I think we're gonna really find a way to help many businesses to achieve their goals. So I'm excited. Thank you.
I'm excited too.
Thanks. Let's dig into automation a little bit as a starting point. Why do you think it's important for small and medium businesses to be looking at automation?
Oh, thanks, Mike. And thanks for inviting me here. It's a topic that I really am very passionate and interested. Automation, as they have defined it, is really the application of technology, programs, or processes to achieve outcomes with minimal human input. Right, so most of us think of it as bots or software automation. Some are called robotic process automation, but it's really about how we minimize the work that us human beings do, so we can focus on more value-adding work. And it's normally part of any business digital transformation strategy. Because as the world is evolving and COVID has accelerated that, most of the processes of companies are now digitized. And once they are digitized, then you can really identify what are the repeatable processes that you can automate. And I think when especially for small and medium businesses, where you are trying to maximize the resources that are constrained, you'd like your employees to focus on really the critical work that needs judgment and creativity. And that's where automation could help. So key benefits would be increasing productivity, right? So you can automate processes that repeat all the time, and there's really a specific input and output and outcome. And if you automate that, then it's more efficient and consistent. And the other major benefit is if you're using automation or bots, or they call it digital workers, it runs 24/7. It doesn't take medical leave. They don't burn out. So then you're continuing the business processes. You have clear accountability because you can see what it does. You code it, you're able to see and predict the outcomes. And therefore, in the long run, it's more cost effective, it's more efficient, and also it achieves the things that you have determined it to achieve.
Wow, it's a great summary and explanation, Rudy. So sort of leave the judgment to the humans and try to automate everything else so that people can be used to their fullest and not with some of the more menial or repeatable tasks at times, huh?
Definitely. And I think us human beings, right? Uh, we find it hard if it's the same thing all over again. So wouldn't we wish that someone else, and now it's more digital workers supporting the work that we are doing?
Yeah, very good. You know, when I think about all the small, medium businesses out there, they all have differing challenges to managing their business. So could you sort of summarize, what are some of the challenges that SMBs face with integrating automation into their companies? It must be hard for many of them to even know where to start.
Yes, I think the two major challenges that they face are capability and cost. So let's take capability. To develop automation solutions, you require a internal automation team, which are highly skilled on the different elements that are needed to create the software, to analyze the process, and to maintain this automation or these digital workers. And the size of the business is normally your IT team will be focused on security, infrastructure, and tech support, but not you won't hire this more expensive software engineers and business analysts to just focus on automation as a thrust. So most small and medium businesses have lacking capability to automate their processes. And the other would be cost. So the big automation companies normally they charge a huge license fee, and sometimes the return on investment would not be worth it. So these two major challenges, whether you're looking at it from a capability standpoint or cost standpoint, sometimes make it more difficult for the small and medium businesses to embrace automation. But most would want to. So I think it's not just it's more a question of how best could they find the solutions that they're looking for.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So, me, if someone's a small business owner, they might think, well, maybe I'm too small. Or if
Yeah.
they're a medium-sized business, they might be thinking, well, maybe I need to hire my own staff to do this. But that's not necessarily the case in either of those, right? You can be a small business
Yes.
and still utilize automation to really benefit your business, or you can be a medium-sized business and find alternate ways to institutionalize and integrate automation into the business. If I'm hearing you right.
Yes, that's correct.
Great. As I think about it, maybe you can point out some example use cases that have passed across your desk in your business, and maybe discuss some of the other benefits of automation.
Yeah. So automation can range from something as simple as an automated email birthday greeting to your employees or when they reach an anniversary. So with small, medium businesses, this is normally done by their HR team. They go through the list of employees and send a manual email so that it shows that the company cares for them, and simple automation, it just generates from your database, and it's something that is consistent. Or it can be even helping sales processes. For example, let's say you just input the company that you're researching, and it provides and scans information from the web in terms of the company size, that the key leaders, and it helps in building lead intelligence. One of my favorite examples I've come across, which we've done, for example, is within our own organization in Infinit-O. We used to handle HR requests via email. So employees would send an email to HR and they would respond via email. And this gets very, very tough to track. Imagine receiving hundreds of emails every day and following the different threads of each request. What we've done to automate it is to create a chatbot that responds to the requests of all the employees so that the HR team can focus on the more complicated requests and the chatbot can answer the ones that are repeated questions. So overall, the benefit would be one, you're more productive because your employees are then focused on the more complex tasks that require creativity and judgment, and the bots or the digital workers will do the ones that are repeatable and are expected. Another is uh, your employees will have a better morale because they're not doing the same thing all over again, and they can then really do what they want to do in any of the functions in their job. The third is consistency, right? So if there is a question that is repeated, then the answer should be repeated, and it doesn't take a human being to do that. Then it's reliable, it's consistent. There's one other element of automation that is now being touted, which is it helps in compliance. Because when you develop automation, for example, you're responding to a request via a ticketing system rather than email, then everything is auditable and trackable because the bots will not really, you can really look into what's happening in each transaction or each question. So even the auditors and compliance regulators like things to be automated because it's easy to track.
Mhm.
So we are always above board as a company.
Wow. It makes great sense in the employee morale and client experience. Actually, I could see being impacted the same positive way because they'll be getting
Yes.
very speedy responses to questions and not having to wait for answers.
Yep.
So I could see that being a sort of another layer of the morale
That's a
and
very good point.
satisfaction. Yeah.
And imagine, for example, on customer service, right? We've all experienced this. In some companies where there is no chatbot, then you have to wait for office hours, right? So what
Mhm.
if you are a global company and you're working in US time zone, but someone in Asia wants to get some information, right? So you don't have to have human beings waiting on all time zones. Then you have a response if it's a question that is consistently being asked, then the chatbot, for example, to respond to that. So that's because the digital workers will not sleep, right? The bots will not sleep. Then they will be able to do the work as you are sleeping.
Yeah. Yeah. Great global solution. Um, and as you said, saving money, more efficient, and it
Yes.
all depends on what goes in to the building of that automation system as to what's going to come out and result in those good characteristics, those positive benefits. um, we've talked somewhat about the benefits. What have you seen in some of the significant impacts of automation and in a view perhaps on return on investment? So if I'm a small business owner or a medium scaling, expanding business, is there a way to define the real impact to my business, even financially, perhaps?
Yeah, so it's like any business decision, you want to really understand the return on investment. And here, the return is the time you save or the headcount that you don't have to hire or how your current workforce can focus on more value adding tasks, right? So that's the return or the savings because you're able to cater to more requests within a specific day. And the investment is more like, let's say in IO Labs, it's a subscription model, right? For us, you look at there's a minimal fee to pay for the configuration. And then you just have a subscription. It's like any other software that you normally subscribe to. And if you make changes on the automation, then there's a change fee. So normally the ROI is computed all of the benefits of increased customer satisfaction or decrease in headcount costs over the what you pay for the subscription. And normally the focus here is all about effectiveness and efficiency. So some processes are more effective. For example, in customer experience, you would like your customers to be able to be in touch with you or to provide a response to, let's say, where their order is at. So then they're happy and they will come back and become your customers again. And on efficiency, then you are able to resolve a query or perform a business task in the least amount of work, human work possible.
Yeah, I could really understand that too from the sales enablement and sales effectiveness side of the world.
It's
If you're
true.
able to, if you're able to do instantaneous responses to customer questions or prospective customer inquiries, your rate of appointment setting could go way up, and therefore your close rates could go up significantly as well.
Yes.
So through automation of your sales automation and potentially marketing automation as other examples. So, lastly, Rudy, how can Infinit-O or IO Labs help SMBs, small, medium businesses, expanding companies and possibly partner with them along their journey, their automation journey? What would be the logical steps to engage?
Yeah, so with Infinit-O, right? So what we've always been doing is to build great teams for small and medium businesses. Now with IO Labs becoming being the technology center of excellence, what we help do is become your automation partner. So let's say a current client or a new client, we can help assess what are the processes that would be good to automate, right? So if they're repeatable and it's something that we know the input and the output of, then that's a candidate for automation. So it's the assessment part. And then what we do is to configure what the automation solution is. So what we have in our automation framework is what we call different modules, right? So different software modules that we put together so that it forms a whole automated process. Once we configure the technology solution, then we enable and launch it in your company. And then a major part of that is maintenance. So we need to ensure that it's continuously working, nothing breaks. And of course, the added value we have with Infinit-O is we help you with continuous process improvement. So based on all the data that our automation solution gets, because we process your information and we go through all of your transactions, then we can also tell our partners how to improve their business processes, right? So I think this is how we engage. And for me, every company is different, but there are common denominators, and we'd really be happy to work with you to help you in your digital transformation. So we don't just build great teams of people, we actually can help build you a team of digital workers as well.
That sounds fantastic, Rudy. So from the standpoint of engaging, I think the key steps would be to reach out to us at Infinit-O at info@infinito, infinit-o.com, and we can get you started. We can get anybody that's interested in touch with Rudy and his team. And then once that engagement begins, discussions, then there's a customized approach to working together, which has proven to be quite successful and does not consume a dramatic and significant amount of a client's time, which is extremely valuable. And in the end comes out with a very productive and effective solution on their journey to a digital transformation. Once again, it's been a very insightful time talking with you, Rudy, and thanks for spending this time on the podcast. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for educating us about automation, digital transformation, and sort of the journey toward technology-driven solutions that many SMBs can use. Thanks again, Rudy.
Yes. Thank you, Mike. And I hope you all have a good day.
Oh, thanks, Rudy. Thank you. And to the audience, thanks again for tuning into this episode. Once again, to get it to know us better, you can look at Infinit-O.com, or any questions, you can email us at info@infinit-o.com. So until next time, thank you again, and please stay in touch for the next episode of the podcast. Thank you.
And that has been the Outsourcing Hub podcast, building great teams with Mike Gunyon. Thank you for tuning in. And always remember, start small, exceed expectations, think infinitely, think Infinit-O. To learn more about us, make sure to visit our website at www.infinit-o.com or email us at info@infinit-o.com. Until next time.